Hi, welcome to Infusion Health, the podcast. I'm comedian Cris Patrick, a.k.a. Self-Proclaimed Power Man. And I'm here with my co-host and significant other, Rach.
Hey, guys.
Now, today we got, she's a certified primal health coach. I'm not sure what that is, but good thing we got her on the show to explain it. And the name of her company is Be Happy First, and her name is Lauren Gabrielle Foster, and she's going to tell us how she has been living with a wheat grain-free diet. I'm not sure if it's wheat, but a grain-free diet. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Hi, Cris. Thanks. I'm so happy to be here. What a fun introduction. I love
it. I'm glad. Thanks. So you're a certified personal primal health coach. What exactly is that?
Okay, certified primal health coach. Mark Sisson is the man who developed the primal lifestyle. It's very similar to paleo. That's the more popular term that you're going to hear about is paleo. So you've heard of paleo?
No,
right?
I've never heard of paleo.
You haven't heard of paleo? Okay, so but both of them are based on their ancestral diet. And so they're based on the theory that our bodies haven't evolved to keep up with technology and agriculture and the way we're screwing around with our food supply. Mm-hmm. So the rule is that you go back and you eat food the way the earth provided it for us without men screwing around with it and turning it into science experiments. So
you're talking about back to like when the farmers brought it to their wives, and the wives cooked it and brought it to the table.
Yes, and actually even a little bit before that.
Okay.
But yeah, right around that time. So when a single farmer is growing a small field of wheat and harvesting that and making that into bread, and that's all really kind of a cool thing that goes along with the eggs and the chickens and the vegetables from the gardens and, all of those things. But what we've done as Americans is we have made wheat our primary source of food, and it's genetically modified, and it's covered in pesticides, and it's processed in all of these ways that cause it to be not digestible by the human body.
Right.
So there's every degree of gluten sensitivity from celiac, which means it will kill you,
right,
down to just, the normal person that'll get a zit or two, and everything in between.
And there's dyes and there's all those other chemicals in there. Yep, totally.
Yes, absolutely. So that's a big premise of the primal lifestyle is, eating food that's unscrewed around with.
Right.
That's basic and whole. And grains, even if they don't have gluten, they have something called anti-nutrients, which this is all designed so that bison won't eat them. It's a survival mechanism for the wheat and all of the grains. And the wild animals go, that stuff gives me a tummy ache. I'm not going to eat that anymore. So it works for them. But we as humans, we adapt. We go, I'm a little uncomfortable, but it's no big deal. I'll just get over it. And we learn to live with it. And before we know it, we're sick because we didn't listen to our bodies. So that's what all of those anti-nutrients are for. And that's why we shouldn't eat them. Mm-hmm. And then the bigger, actually worse thing is trans fats, vegetable oils, overly processed, fake oils that have nothing to do with nature and are not recognized by our bodies. So we get rid of all those. We don't do high fructose corn syrup. Basically, you eat food in the way that it is born and not processed natural and screwed up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting you say that because I've had friends who were vegetarians, and then I have friends that that love their meat, love to eat what they eat, and they say, well, the cavemen ate meat, and I said, yeah, the cavemen ate meat, but here's the thing: the cavemen ate meat when they could get meat. They didn't get meat every day like we do, and during the days where they couldn't kill something to eat it, they had to eat vegetables and fruits and berries and stuff like that. And it's also been proven scientifically. I think it was in Australia. They took some Aborigines or something like that and took them out of their natural habitat and put them on a Western diet. They gained weight. Then when they put them back into their natural habitat, they actually lost weight.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the absolute truth. And if you look at the seasons, you get berries and sugar-filled fruits are really only available in the summer. So our ancestors would gorge on those things in the summer and gain weight, but that weight served them through the lean winter months when there wasn't as much food to eat. So, our bodies knew how to work with the seasons to ensure our survival.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's So, what is Be Happy First?
Your company.
Okay, so the whole premise, the whole world, that Be Happy First is about mindset. And we have all been taught that our happiness lies out there somewhere. I'm going to be happy when I find the perfect lover. I'm going to be happy when I lose weight. I'm going to be happy when I get a better job or make more money or get this car or, an endless list of things that are outside of ourselves. And it never happens. We get the thing that we think is going to make us happy, and then we just find something else to want. So we keep pushing happiness further and further away from ourselves. Whereas if we flip that whole concept around and we decide that we're going to be happy right here in this moment on purpose because that's how we choose to be, then all of those things that we want will come to us very naturally and very easily and very joyfully. And we're never postponing our happiness until some outside circumstance lines up right.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we mean by be happy first. And you attract what you are. Mm-hmm. So if you are a happy, joyful, abundant feeling person, you will attract happiness and joy and abundance and, like-minded people and opportunities and ideas and resources and all of the things that make this human existence fun and interesting and lucrative. Those things will all come to you if your mindset is in the right place first.
So my question is, what everybody has this aha moment of why they changed their diet and stuff like that. Was there an aha moment for you of why you needed to change your diet to this grain-free diet?
Like most American women, I dieted my whole life. I have been on every single diet that there ever was, you name it. I've done it. I've done the blood type diet. I've done the cabbage soup diet and the grapefruit diet and, all the Slim Fast, the powdered drinks, everything that you can think of. And so I want to say around 2010, I'd been in a place where I'm just like, I don't want to care about this anymore. I don't want to care about what I look like. I don't want to care about what size jeans I wear. And as that's how this universe works. Like, I just want to feel good and be healthy and be strong, right. and let everything else do what it does. And the universe brought a girlfriend that said, "Oh, we discovered this great guy and this great lifestyle called the primal lifestyle." And the first things I read were drink red wine, eat dark chocolate, go barefoot in the woods. I'm like, yeah, this is actually, he said go naked in the woods. So I don't know if this is a PG show or what, but like, yeah, I can totally get behind this. And the more I read about it, the more sense it made. Mm-hmm. And, I had already incidentally been kind of off of breads because I was off of carbs.
Okay.
And I had already figured out about my body that a lower carb diet, I feel better. I stay as better weight. My appetite's better. Everything seems to work okay if I'm not, having too many carbs. So the no bread thing was very easy for me. And everything else just made sense and it's effortless. And so once you work with these basic tenets, then you get in touch with your own body and decide specifically within those guidelines what works for you. Mm-hmm. So the whole issue of legumes or beans is a very broad thing. There are also lectins and anti-nutrients and things like that in legumes, but a lot of people respond okay to those. I do not.
Mhm.
So that becomes a personal preference that you figure out what foods work for you and what don't. And, develop a loving relationship with your body and, being grateful and working in harmony with your body instead of beating it up and yelling at it and criticizing it all the time.
Right.
Well, that's interesting you say that because a lot of people think that, okay, I can get on this diet. My friend Johnny's on this diet, so I'm gonna get on the diet. But it may work for Johnny because his body type's different and than your body type. Like I remember, the big thing now is the keto diet. And then when Rachel was telling me about it, I said, "Oh, it sounds a lot like the Atkins diet." Now the Atkins diet was no carbs, but see, I work out, and I said, "Okay, I'm gonna do this no carbs." So I didn't do any carbs, so I went to work out and I went to do like my warm up weight. I think I was doing like the incline bench press or something. I went, I could barely get through it. And this was my warm up weight. And I was like, I think I need some carbs, because carbs give you energy. So it's like, okay. Then, I talked to a lady, she was a professional bodybuilder and she told me, she said, well, it's good to get your carbs in the day, but then towards the end of the day, you got to start to weed them out, cause they will help you with your energy. But also, too, there's the right kind of carbs. I mean, you can't eat cheeseburgers all day, but like, baked potatoes and stuff like that, or other different types of carbs. But I was like, yeah, I realized like, yeah, I need my carbs.
And you're not talking about cutting out your carbs. You're just talking about cutting out your grains, right?
Exactly. So coincidentally, grains are very, very high in carbs. So you are naturally reducing your carb count. But the idea is metabolic flexibility. And that's what a ketogenic diet is, a fantastic tool to retrain your body to have metabolic flexibility. So that means that if you are in a place where there's nothing to eat or nothing good to eat or nothing you want to eat, then your body can go, no problem. I've got plenty of meals right here on your belly, on your butt, on your thighs. Even the leanest person in the world at 2% body fat has plenty of excess calories right on your body. That is a beautiful design so that your body can go, no big deal. I'll go get lunch from your thighs. and it's not a big deal. And you don't get that hangry where when you are carb dependent and your body forgets how to burn fat, then you have to have a constant flow of food or your body doesn't know what to do. So teach it, and then the converse, if you decide to go and have a plate of pasta, your body goes, oh, okay, I know what this is. This is sugar. This is carbs. It's all right. We'll use this. We'll use this first. This is ready food and ready fuel, and we'll use this up, and everything will be great. And then so your body can burn whatever you give it whenever you give it. You're not dependent on one or the other. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think something that the viewers need to understand is there's actually two brains in your body. So there is the gut brain and there's your actual brain. So when she's talking about when your body is understanding how to process it, it is your gut brain that knows how to do these things.
They actually work together.
Yep. So
the beauty is that, so if you are truly hungry, really your stomach is empty and your body wants food, it tells your brain, hey, tell the girl that send some hunger signals out because we could use some fuel. And the brain does that and sends out the little pangs in your tummy. And then if you go, oh, you know what, I'm not really in the mood, it's not convenient for me to eat right now, y'all stand by, then your body will settle back and go, okay, that's all right, we'll get some fuel from somewhere else. And that's the beautiful thing. That's when your body is working in harmony with what you're giving it and with what it has available comfortably.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the perfect world.
Yeah, it's kind of like like our one of our oldest daughters. She's 18 years old. She lives with us, but it's like we make dinner. I do most of the cooking in the house, so I made dinner, and everybody ate and all that. Then an hour later, she wanted to go up to the fast food place for some. I said, well, you already had dinner, and then it's kind of the thing too. It's like, what is your brain telling you? Because you can't be hungry. I know you're not hungry.
Right. Right, exactly. And sugar cravings are real. Sugar addictions are real.
Right.
That release of glucose in your brain and in your body is something that you do get addicted to and accustomed to.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot too is it's kind of like training your mind, because a lot of kids today, and we say it is, back in my day, going through like a neighborhood, even a neighborhood we live in, this time of day, a good summer day, you could drive by and there's kids outside playing baseball, playing, kickball, running around doing, but now you drive through a neighborhood and there's no kids are on their computers, on their cell phones and all that. So when you're sitting around, you're eating and you're eating and you're eating, it gets to the point to where you're just doing it kind of like your body just knows like, oh, yeah, he's going to feed us. You're just doing it as opposed to exercising and all that and getting up. And that's why I keep telling you guys need to exercise. You need to get out of the house,
Yeah, it's the absolute truth. Yeah, when we were kids, we ran around all day long, every day.
Yeah.
And now, if you get a kid out to exercise and get some sunshine for an hour, you've really accomplished something. Yeah, it is very much a different societal lifestyle that is being reflected in the health of our kids, unfortunately.
So talking about family, our listeners are listening to this right around Thanksgiving. So what are some of those wonderful dishes that you like to prepare right around that time?
Well, now there is absolutely nothing wrong or unhealthy about a beautiful giant roasted turkey. And actually most of the dishes that are served at Thanksgiving they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's all right. So if you're going to have a roasted turkey and you don't want the gravy that's full of flour,
Right.
then have the turkey leg, because the turkey leg it's already moist. It already has the fat from the bird that is very good for you and doesn't have the gluten and the grains that's in the gravy. So that's one way to get around that. And fill your plate up with vegetables, green beans and broccoli and cheese. And there are many, many recipes for like a mushroom stuffing that are decadent and delicious and fantastic and don't have any kind of grains at all. Just, mushrooms, and they're not complicated to make. Suzanne Summers had a theory about how you should eat, in that you should eat carbs together by themselves and you should eat fat and protein together by themselves. And so she had a lot of really awesome recipes that were coincidentally grain-free, because you were keeping your carbs away from your proteins and fats. So her cookbooks are amazing, and she has some really great mushroom dressings in there. And another great source for anti-inflammatory paleo primal type recipes is Danielle Walker. One of her websites is againstallgrains.com, and her story is actually pretty awesome and fascinating. She cured herself of very severe and debilitating autoimmune disease that struck her when she was very, very young, and she was able to completely heal her body and is fantastic in the kitchen. So all of her books and websites have a lot of really great recipes.
Okay, well, to the listeners, maybe to the younger listeners, Suzanne Summers, she was on a show called Three's Company, and and with John Ritter and Joyce DeWitt. And what happened was she ended up getting breast cancer, I think, and she decided not to do chemo, and it was a big thing that she wasn't going to do chemo, and she went and looked and researched and did some other things. I think at the end she ended up doing chemo, but some of the stuff she did was not chemo. And she's also very, I think some of the younger listeners may know her from, there was a product called the Thigh Master and the Butt Master that she was promoting. She's also, she's a poet. She's a singer, actress, poet. And she's also done some stuff with different diets and stuff like that.
So you're also talking more like celiacs, like the less grain foods, you would be more into the celiacs people then.
No, let me be very clear. I don't
All
think
right.
that anyone should be eating grain
Yeah.
as a rule.
Right.
For
No, totally
80-20,
understand that. Yep. No, I
yes,
meant like
yeah.
more
So,
like the diet. If people were looking for the type of diet they should be looking towards, going like people should be going for more of a celiacs type of diet. And that's what I'm trying. Yeah.
yes, but I want to deconstruct that entire sentence. There
All right.
is no should. Everybody is on their own path, and everybody can figure out what feels good for them. And I also don't like the word diet because that implies
Lifestyle change.
Short term. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it implies that I'm doing this specific thing that's going to be hard and limited to get these specific results.
Yeah.
That to me is what
it's a moment in time instead of a permanent
a
thing.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
And a new relationship with food and with your body and with movement, and that is very, very intimate and unique to you.
Yes.
There is no one size fits all.
Right.
For anybody. There are people that get a tummy ache from eating pasta, and yet the idea of not having pasta again breaks their heart.
Absolutely.
It's their favorite. So then you got to decide which is best for me, and figure out a way that you can have what your heart wants and nourish your body at the same time. You know, and each person has to figure that out for themselves.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, well, like you said, one of the things, with grains, we're talking about bread. Now, there's bread in everything, sandwiches, burgers. There's always always bread. But you said you cook with like coconut flour and other different types of flour than the traditional, bleached, unbleached flour.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't buy any type of wheat or oat or any kind of grain flours for my home. Now, there are degrees of how much your body is going to respond to this and how quote unquote bad it is. I just recently read an article that wheat that is grown in Europe is way easier to tolerate to people who have sensitivities than American grain. And there are scientific reasons for that. They grow a different kind of grain there that is softer and has a lower gluten content. And in the United States, we spray our wheat with this desiccating product that causes it to dry faster, makes it easier to process and transport, and extends the shelf life. Well, all of that stuff also makes it very bad for us. So there's a difference in where the flour comes from. And, a hamburger, a really good cheeseburger is just as good with a couple of big leaves of lettuce instead of that, store-bought bun.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's all kinds of ways around it. And if you think to yourself that you love your body and you want quality food, then you're going to think twice about, do I really want this bun? What? And there's no fast food that I can get behind anyway. If you're making it, just that you almost need to cook everything at home, or eat at very, very, very reputable restaurants where you can talk with them about how they're preparing their food and what kind of oils they're cooking in. And, if I bring my own butter, will you cook my steak in butter instead of vegetable oil?
Well, as you say that about cooking your own breads and stuff like that, I remember my uncle used to come up from Kansas City, Missouri, and he used to love. I think there was a little spot where he could buy this bread from the Mennonites, and he loved this Mennonites bread, and he would bring it to our house, and it was good, but then 3 or 4 days, it's like all green and moldy and all that, and I'm like, this probably because it doesn't have the preservatives and all that, So I was like, when he brought it home, I said, I better freeze it, I better freeze it right away, and like. I remember, like, when you buy like buns and stuff like that from the store, like you said, they're putting all that stuff in it. so I can put it on top of the refrigerator. 2 weeks later, they're still good and all that. But it's like that's not it's not good for you, you know.
Yep.
That is exactly right. The cookies that you make at home with your own fresh organic flour and your own fresh eggs and cream and butter and, without all of the sciencey experiments in there are way better for you than the Chips Ahoy that you buy at the store. And a freshly baked loaf of sourdough from your farmer's market is entirely different from the Wonder Bread on the shelf. So you've witnessed this.
Well, like when me and Rach started dating, she was living about 2 hours away. So I'd go see her, and the kids like, well, we want pizza. So I sat up. We went and bought all the ingredients, and I made pizza from scratch. And the kids ate it. They loved it. They're like, this is a lot better than the pizza we have at school. And I said, yeah, well, the pizza you get at school was made probably a week ago. Then it's put on a truck. Then it's frozen. Then it's put on a truck. Then it's shipped here. Then it ships. Then it's shipped to another place. Then it's shipped to a distribution. Then it's shipped there. Then it's shipped to your school. So that was made 2 weeks ago, where we just made it now. But one of the things I found out in the last year, going through the pandemic, is that a lot of people were at home, were working at home, and a lot of people were with their families, and a lot of people started cooking, going, wait a minute, the stuff we're making now, and I see a lot more push for healthy foods, because people were home now and
making it from scratch.
Yeah.
The kids didn't want Cris to know this, but I'm gonna put it out there. Cris makes everything, if he can, from scratch, except for his lasagna noodles. We're trying to get him to do that. But the kids were in a hurry, and they wanted to buy a lasagna from the store. And I'm like, you're not going to like it. It's not Chris's quality. You're not going to like it. Mom, I just want some lasagna. I'm like, you're not going to like it. I bought it. They didn't finish it. They're like, Mom, we finished it all the time in Belleton. I'm like, you got used to a new palate. You got used to that freshness. You got used to those good herbs and all that new texture and that freshness. You got used to that new, and they're like, oh, this sucks. I hate this. I'm like, I told you we shouldn't have bought this.
Them. Yeah. Once you have gourmet lasagna, it's hard to go back to Chef Boyardee, right? And in Chris's defense, it's making lasagna noodles sounds really hard to me.
I know how to make noodles. It's just how to roll them out, how to get them the way they are. I'm probably figure it out, but just haven't. And that's the thing. A lot of people like, well, I don't like to cook at home. I don't like so they go and get the cheap stuff, get the quick stuff because this is quick. And I'm like, because everybody's busy, everybody's running around, but nobody likes to cook. So that's why the fast food restaurants are making so much money and all that, because it's quick, it's easy. I can just get it. I can run. But
do you see? This is a lifestyle choice, and we are faced with thousands of lifestyle choices every day. Do you want to be healthy and take your time over a scrumptious, delicious experience of a meal? Or do you want to spend 10 seconds running through a drive-through and filling your body with trash?
Yeah.
It's your choice.
Yeah.
And it's fabulous that we have that choice, but I'm going to choose to treat my body with love and enjoy food and enjoy it, having it, and enjoy the benefits that's giving my body.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so much better.
Well, Lauren, it's this is interesting. Definitely interesting podcast. If people want to get a hold of you, you got Be Happy First. Where you got some websites or something they can.
She even has her own podcast.
Yeah.
If they want to listen to your podcast or.
So you can go to laurengfoster.com and everything is there. The G is important.
What's it again?
Lauren G. Foster, like for Lauren Gabrielle Foster, because Lauren Foster is a very, very famous transsexual model.
Mm-hmm.
And she's beautiful and fantastic, and she's great at internet marketing. So she's got like the first 5 pages of Google. So you won't find me unless you put the G in there.
LaurenGFoster.com.
LaurenGFoster.com. And then you can find links to the podcast and videos and links to the book. Everything is available from there. But the name of the podcast is the How to Choose Happiness and Freedom Show. And you can search for that anywhere that you listen to podcasts.
Okay. And would you? We didn't really get a lot into Be Happy First. Would you be interested in coming back again and talking about that?
Sure, I would love to. My new book is Happy and Free on Purpose: Daily Practices to Live and Love Your Life. And yeah, I can talk about that all day long because that's my heart. I would be more than thrilled to come back and visit with you again. Y'all are fun.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You are too. And
all right, my dear. So we're going to close this. In history, we have Lines of Hate. On here, we're trying to build lines of love and make you guys your best advocate. If you've appreciated what you listened to, please subscribe and tell others. We've also got a Facebook, and you can reach us on Infusion Health on Facebook on there. And you guys have a great week. Cris, close us out.
Thank you so much, and take it easy.